I want to thank the representatives of these stalwart organizations and all our well-wishers. Making the whole world noble is a collaborative effort. We can't do it alone. And you are all our companions whom we journey forward with to make the world a better place. And now we're going to move on to the next item on our program. Storytelling is a very important way of sharing the culture, the history, and the values that hold us together. I sometimes think that if we feel lost, then we are not hearing enough stories of faith, of resilience, of love, of anything that can inspire us. I read a quote recently that was written for the South African Indian from an indentured past. Our ancestors did not come so far for us to fail. We have not, and we will not. So the Arya Samaj shares a rich history, a diverse history over its span of 100 years in South Africa. We are now going to tell our story with the video presentation produced by Mr. Sudha Singh of the African Lotus Productions.
The Arya Samaj movement was founded by a great reformer of 19th century India, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, in April 1875. Arya means noble and Samaj means an association. So Arya Samaj means an association of noble people. The Arya Samaj movement was founded primarily to lift Hinduism out of its slumber, social decay and subjugation, especially since the Mughal and British invasions, and restore the religion of the ancient Vedas to its former pristine glory. But the Reformation that began in India soon grew beyond its borders with the advent of indenture. Impoverished Indians were soon taken as labourers to other areas of the British colony, and so Hinduism spread to Mauritius, Trinidad, British Guiana, Fiji, and South Africa. The indentured labourers came from the lowest socio-economic rungs and were not scholars of Indian culture. Their primary concern was earning a livelihood. Separated from linguistic, cultural and religious roots in India, Hindu culture was thus left to grow on very impoverished resources. But as Hindu society in South Africa was slowly losing its identity, the Arya Samaj movement in India was flourishing, and its swamis and preachers began to visit countries abroad where Indians had settled, especially in South Africa. The visits have played an indelible role in the practice of Hinduism and helped foster the growth Hindu thought. The Vedic philosophy expounded by Swami Dayanand Saraswati made a tremendous impact on the early settlers in South Africa. The Arya Samaj, with its total opposition to discrimination based on caste, gender, race, and economic circumstance, has had a great appeal. "45 years after the arrival of the indentured Indians, the first Hindu scholar to come to South Africa was Bhai Parmanand. He started the Hindu reform movement and established in various areas Hindu young men's associations. Thereafter, in 1908, Swami Shankarananda Maharaj was welcomed by a large group of enthusiastic people at the Durban harbour. He delivered talks on Hindu culture, religion, ceremonies, the importance of the vernacular, and emphasized the importance of festivals. Largely because of his efforts for the first time in South Africa, Deepavali came to be recognized as a festival of Hindus in South Africa. Also due to his efforts, on the 31st of May 1912, a conference of all South African Hindus was held and the South African Hindu Mahasabha was born. Later that year, on the 22nd December 1912, a locally born stalwart of the Arya Samaj, Pandit Bhavani Dayal, returned from his marriage in India at the age of 20. He and his young wife, Janani Devi, involved themselves in Gandhiji's famous Satyagraha program. They were both imprisoned in October 1913. His passion and fervour for the cause saw him play an active role within the Arya Samaj movement in South Africa. He ardently preached the Vedic religion and the propagation of Hindi, and also served later as a president of the Natal Indian Congress in South Africa. The Natal Indian Congress was established by Mahatma Gandhi even before the African National Congress came into being, to exert the utmost pressure on the apartheid regime in South Africa and to give full effect to the liberation struggle. By the end of 1925, the Arya Samajis were well established throughout Natal. Yet there was no central coordination or unity, and so during the birth centenary celebration of Swami Dayanand in 1925, the Arya Pratinidhi Sabha was established. This became the parent body of all Arya Samaj organizations in South Africa, and through the regular satsangs, Hindi classes, training of priests, musical classes, theatre, building of schools and social welfare projects, the Arya Pratinidhi Sabha was able to maintain and even grow the practice and understanding of Hinduism in South Africa. Early 1918, an incident in an Indian area of Durban sparked a moving scene that gave birth to a home for the homeless. A beggar was being beaten by a policeman for using a public toilet as an overnight shelter. His cries reached the ear of the then president of the Arya Yuvak Sabha, the AYS, Mr. D.G. Satyadeva, who on the same day reported the incident to the Sabha after consideration of the 9th principle of the Arya Samaj that said, "No person shall be contained in his own welfare, but must find his welfare in the welfare of others." A decision was taken to provide a home for the homeless. By 1920, a building was purchased, and on the 1st of May 1921, a home for the homeless was established in Ballet Road, Naval. The first child to be taken into the newly formed home, a 6-year-old little boy, grew to become president of the very home he was raised in and served with love, compassion, and humility. For 38 years, his personal experiences inspired him to be totally dedicated to caring for the frail. And even after becoming a teacher, Dr. Sushipal Rambiros continued to serve the home until his passing in 2010. Today, the Aryan Benevolent Home continues to serve the needs of the frail, the aged, and the homeless. Another renowned stalwart of the Arya Samaj movement in South Africa was Pandit Naradev Vedalanka. He arrived in South Africa in 1947 as a Gujarati teacher, but stayed on to successfully spread the tenets of Vedic culture. In 1948, he established the Hindi Shiksha Sangh, which gave rise to the first fully fledged Hindu radio station in South Africa, Radio Hindwani. He was also instrumental in establishing the Vedic Priest Academy and the Veda Niketan, both part of the 5 standing committees of the Arya Pratinidhi Sabha. The Narayan Jeevan Vedic Center, the Arya Youth League, and the Finance Committee make up the remaining standing committees. Today, the Sabha remains a mature and flourishing organization which continues to offer direction and leadership to the community at large in the religious, social, cultural, and educational fields. Its mission is still to promote the acceptance of the 10 principles of the Arya Samaj as a blueprint for transformation in one's personal life and in society at large, and to conduct all such activities which are in keeping with the spirit of these principles. The Vedic Purohit Mandal attends to the religious needs of the community. Rituals are performed in accordance with Vedic principles and philosophy, with emphasis on the 16 Vedic sanskaras or ceremonies. Providing counsel and advice, especially in times of tragedy, dissemination of the Veda Niketan books and literature, training of the yagyas, etc., are some of the duties. The priest training is open to males and females over the age of 21. A 3-year course involving examinations written at the half-yearly stage and the final at the end of each year is prescribed. There are orals and practical aspects to each examination. An ordaining ceremony at which a certificate is awarded and a priest gown is worn after taking a solemn oath is held annually. Meetings where Pandits and Panditas meet to discuss matters or issues related to their field of work take place quarterly. Workshops are also arranged to assist priests in establishing uniformity in the performance of various sanskaras. The Purohits and Yagyaks of the Mandal are looked upon as custodians of the Vedic culture. The Arya Pratinindhi Sabha has embarked on a grassroots initiative to teach the performance of the Havan ceremony in its simplest form to communities at large. These Bahukund Yajnas are held where many people can participate and benefit. Bahu means many and Kund means vessel. The Veda Niketan was established with the objective of upholding the third principle of the Arya Samaj, which reads the word the Veda. The Veda is the scripture of true knowledge. It is the paramount duty of every Arya to learn and teach the Veda, to hear it read and to recite it to others. The Veda Niketan promotes Vedic religion and philosophy by engaging in two broad activities: conducting of religious examinations and publishing Vedic literature. Swami Dayanand Saraswati believed in the existence of only one supreme reality, which should be worshipped in spirit, not form. The multitude of different divine beings signify but different aspects of one absolute existence. His philosophy and exhortation to all at the time was, go back to the Vedas, as all knowledge is contained in the Vedas, which forms the bedrock of Sanatan Dharma. The propagation of not only Hindi but other Indian languages as well, and the wider recognition of Hindu festivals all have benefited from the pioneering efforts of the Arya Samaj and its commitment to the betterment of Hindu society.
Thank you, Sudha, for that really beautiful presentation, and we know that you have enjoyed that video. This video is a bridge of our past and of our future as the Samaj in South Africa. We are now blessed to live in a country that zealously protects our religious rights. We are also proud that before the birth of the Constitution and democracy in our country, many members of the Arya Samaj played a critical and active role in the socio-political sphere that brought us out of apartheid. And this is the nature of the Samaj, to be able to adapt and respond appropriately.